Hey guys, how's it going? We are back for another Q&A. We missed last week's Q&A, but I still was able to get a Monday video up. So it was kind of a little bonus video, which is exciting. And actually how that happened was we forgot to add that footage into a other video that was going up the previous week. We were like, you know what? Let's just turn it into a video, and that's what we decided to do. So there was kind of a little bonus video. I am just going to be pulling questions from the last week's videos. So last week's videos were big impact planters at my friend's house, hot pink phlox, giant plumes, and a whole lot of digging, our cozy cottage garden tour, and then we did major garden shuffle, clearing way for the greenhouse, which is so exciting, and then planting dahlias, zinnias, cosmos, and sunflowers. And it was a good week. It was a very busy week, and my sister's wedding was last weekend, and it was a great wedding. There was a lot of people. Everyone showed up for it, and it was really, really beautiful. And the cow suit did make an appearance at the wedding. We will try to pop the clip up. My sister was dancing to Pink Pony Club by Chapel Rowan in the cow suit. I was not in the cow suit. Yeah, so I can't play the music because of copyright strikes, but it was Pink Pony Club, so it was a really good time though. So the first video from last week was the big impact planters at my friend's house, and I had gone to my friend Amy's house and we had potted up the 3 metal edge-right planters that I had gotten, and they look so good. They're so full. I might have overpacked them, but my thought was, you know what, it'll be fine. I'm sure something's gonna die while it's out there, so maybe something else will fill in its place. The first question on that video was from Jackie, and she had said, what's the brand of the soil for the pink bags again? It is called NearSource, and so far I'm loving it. I've used it in a couple different containers here at my friends' houses and a couple other places, and it's all been really, really great. You can pick it up at Home Depot, and I think Lowe's might carry it. Also, Home Depot does offer like free shipping on most items, and soil seems to be one of the items that they offer free shipping on. So if you need to order it and you don't want to go pick it up and put it in your vehicle, they'll deliver it for free. Super cool. And I will put a link to that soil in the description down below too. The next question on that video is from Christy, and she had said, is Amy the friend who dug a lot of your landscape plants you wanted to replace? Planters are beautiful. That is not Amy. That was my other friend, Allie. She took a ton of plants. This was a while ago. I don't even remember. It was like maybe 2 years ago at this point or something like that. My friend Allie, she came up. She actually does landscaping for a living. And she took a bunch of plants while they were dormant, and she transplanted them to her property. And the last question on that video is from Liz, and she had said, will Repels all work for cats? Repels all is not really one that you use for cats. That's more like, it works well for deer, raccoons, rabbits, things like that. There is one by Bonide that works for cats and dogs and rabbits. It's called Go Away Rabbit, Dog, and Cat Repellent. So I will put a link to that one down below. I have never used it, but I have heard other people who have had pretty good luck with that one. So if you are dealing with that, I would try those. The next video that we did was hot pink phlox, giant plumes, and a whole lot of digging. And it's good. It was good gardening, and Freya helped with a little bit of it. The first question on that video is from the Shay Mendoza, and they had said, hi Robbie, what height did you use for your island edge-right borders? The really tall metal edging that we have, I believe it's 14 inch. So it's like the biggest one that they have. And so far it's been absolutely amazing. I will say, when you're installing any of your metal edging, especially the taller ones, make sure that they are as close as possible to each other. The pieces should butt up. Don't leave a gap. Make sure that they're as close as possible. The next question on that video is from Nita, and she said, what happens when you run out of places to plant? That is a serious thought. So, I mean, I think the greenhouse is going to help a lot with content ideas and video ideas, especially during the winter months, because winter months, I kind of struggle with videos. It's very hard to get things done. And also peak summer is really hard for me. That is definitely our off season. I don't want to be in the garden peak season. It's too hot for me. And so running out of space, my thought is, you know what, there's going to be things down the road that I'm going to be like, you know what, I tried it, I didn't love it, I'm gonna take this out. And then for things like perennials, a lot of them have kind of a short life cycle, you know, just a couple years, especially like heucheras and things like that. So my thought is, you know what, they're probably not gonna last forever. So I will replace things as need be and take things out as need be. Or, you know, maybe in 2 years, I will be like, you know what, I wanna redo this whole entire flower bed over here. And we redo the whole flower bed over there. So I don't think that I really will run out of content ideas. And we have hopes that one day we can start buying some more property, maybe even around us or something like that, acquire maybe one of the houses to the left or right of us, and we can turn it into a rental property, and then we could just use the landscape and make it so that the house has like a smaller property. I don't know. We have a million ideas, so I'm not super worried about it, but it is something that I do think about a lot also. The next question on that video is from Shelly, and she had said, any update on the birds and eggs hatching? Love your channel. No update. I don't think that the eggs are going to hatch. They're still sitting on them. Usually after a certain number of days, they will push the eggs out if the eggs don't hatch. So I'm thinking that they haven't pushed them out yet. So I don't know. There's no update. The next question on that video is from Quilting Fanatic, and they had said, hi, so I'm wondering why you don't bury your water lines. So as far as the water lines that you see in the jelly bean beds in the like center area, they will get buried when I cover them with mulch. So I'm just waiting to cover everything mulch until I actually get it all planted up. It wouldn't make sense to mulch everything and then dig a hole and then get dirt on top of my mulch. So once I mulch everything, those will get buried, but I don't want to bury them in the ground. It's just drip irrigation. It's not like it's like our water lines. So that's the only reason that they're not buried. The next question on that video is actually kind of like a little like comment section, and it's from Join Me in the Dirt, and they had said, I love when I watch Janie's channel. You're always in the sidebar so I can click on yours next. Your garden soul buddies. And then somebody down below, Jeannie, said, what is Janie's channel called? And her channel is called Dig, Plant, Water, Repeat. If you have not checked it out, go check it out. Janie and I, we garden in basically the same growing zone. She's 2 hours south of me. And she is gardening on almost an acre, I believe, or just over an acre. And they just bought the property not too long ago, a little over a year at this point. And her and I quickly became friends. She was actually just up at the house. We didn't have time to film anything. She was picking up a piece of furniture and she was bringing me some stuff. So we kind of did like a little swapsy thing. We didn't have time to film, so I am sorry about that, but we did take a photo together. So there is that. And she is great at gardening. She is a master gardener, and she has this line of plants called Best for the West. So if you're in a hot climate area, she is one to definitely follow. The next video that we did was our garden tour, and we are deeming it like cozy cottage with just touches of formality here on our property. Little bits of boxwoods, little bits of topiary, and lots of plants very closely planted and very cottagey. That is the vibe that I want for this garden. If you're following me over on Instagram, which if you're not already, you probably should be, I shared kind of an inspiration board of the look that I want for the greenhouse area and kind of that whole vibe. I share a lot of kind of like sneak peek things over there. And I also share a lot of funny videos, and I also share a lot of day-to-day life. So if you're not following me over on Instagram, you probably should. It's under Robbie McMenomey. The first question on that video is from Veronica, and she had said, hello, love all the changes. Can you send me the link to the fountain you purchased from Amazon, please? I will put it in the description down below. YouTube does not allow for people to send messages on here, so I will put it in the description of this video. And the next question on that video is from Miko, and they had said, so beautiful, where's the tree peony? The tree peony is still in the back. It is completely being taken over by the storm cloud ansonium. And it has one bud on it. I'm not sure if the bud's gonna open or not. Fingers crossed though. I'm really hoping that it opens up. It's this teeny tiny little bud, and I'm hoping I just get like a little teeny tiny peony bloom. We will see, but the tree peony is still alive, still doing really well. And I'm thinking that maybe I might move it, because I do want it to be somewhere where it can be kind of more of a like standalone plant. When it grows up, it'll definitely be a standalone plant, and it'll be able to do its own thing. And the storm cloud ansonium will grow underneath it, and it'll be fine. But I want to be able to see it now. We'll see what happens. The next question on that video is from Chi, and they had said, Robbie, do you have mosquito problems? We have terrible mosquito problems, and we have them every single year. And the reason that we have them is because we are so close to a river, and I'm sure there's little spots that the water just pools up and mosquitoes can lay their eggs in there. So we have a terrible mosquito problem. We don't personally have any like sitting water on our property. Well, I guess we technically do. It's a bird bath, but it's so active that there's no way mosquitoes are laying eggs in there, and it gets rinsed out so constantly that there's no mosquitoes in it. Yeah, mosquito problem is bad here though. The next question on that video is from Chris, and they had said, What if you put cardboard on the pokeweed, then cover with compost? Would it smother it out? It would definitely smother it out. We just have so much pokeweed here that it really wouldn't make too much of a difference anyways, because they drop so much seed. That's the issue. They're not growing from the ground up. They're growing because seeds are being dropped, especially by birds. Birds love to eat the pokeweeds, and so we just will always deal with pokeweed, so it's not really worth it to have to cover them and then do the whole cardboard lasagna layer method. It's just easy to just go in with a hula ho, and then they just die right on the ground usually. The next question on that video is from Lakeside Quilting, and they had said, wow, your property is much larger than I thought. Is that a luxury in your area of California? It seems like it might be. Where we are at, it's about pretty average. All of my neighbors have the same size lot, or maybe a little bit larger, or maybe a little tiny bit smaller, but where we're at is probably the average. If we drive 30 minutes into Chico, California, we would definitely have kind of a larger-ish lot, but not by much. So it's pretty standard here. There are definitely some like very suburban areas where the lots are like postage stamp size, but where we're at, it's pretty standard. And the last question on that video is from Chris, and they had said, saw the chickens' doors open. Did I miss it? Are they gone? Can't wait to see the development of that area. And the chickens are gone. They are gone. They went to a very, very good home. I will be talking about it more in another video. Yes, the chickens are gone, and where they are at is actually a really, really good place. So it worked out perfectly, and we could not be happier with where they went. We were very, very nervous and very cautious about who actually was able to take our chickens. The next video that we did was Major Garden Shuffle, clearing the way for the greenhouse, which is so exciting. And yes, we are getting a greenhouse. We are getting a BC greenhouse. I will put the catalog to their 2025 catalog in the description down below. If I forget for some reason, you can just go to their website and it'll ask you if you want to check out their 2025 catalog. I have not announced the style. I have not announced the size. I have not announced anything about it, the color of it. Nothing has been announced. So even that pop-up that I showed you guys earlier, that is not my greenhouse. That is more just inspiration for the greenhouse. So we're keeping it a secret until it shows up, and it's showing up very, very soon. The first question on that video is from Mini Donkeys, and they had said, I had a question. I was at Walmart today and they had marked down dahlia tubers, but they looked dry. Will they grow? What do I look for? I know that you've told us, but I forgot. This is Gail, Mini Donkey Lady in Los Molinos. Okay, so, I mean, if they were marked down and they were at a really good price, I would probably buy them if they were still like a pretty dahlia. And then you need to look for an eye, a neck, and a body. If the neck is broken, which is usually where dahlias will break, then they won't grow. So you need to look, if they're shriveled, they will probably still grow. There's a really good chance they'll still grow. Get them in some wet, moist soil, and they should take off. If you're not sure and it's coming in like a giant clump, you could just plant the entire clump so you don't have to worry about looking for eyes, necks, and all of that stuff, and then just wait to see if growth comes up. The next question on that video is from Patricia, and she had said, how would you manage the greenhouse with the very high temps? We are adding extra ventilation into our greenhouse. So I think standard is to come with like 2 or 3 vents or something like that. We have 5 vents, and then the doors have vents on them also. So we have a lot of vents, and then we're also adding power and water into our greenhouse. And my plan is to get a fan that is on pretty much 24/7 running in the greenhouse. I don't plan during the summer months to use it to grow anything. It'll just be more of like in the evenings, if we want to be outside and we want to get away from the mosquitoes in the evening, we could go hang out in the greenhouse if we so chose, or whatever it might be, or host a small dinner party in the greenhouse, things like that. So it's not going to be used for growing in the summer months, because we would definitely need some type of air system, air conditioner. It's going to be more for like fall, winter, and early springtime. The next question on that video is from Sabine, and they had said, question, when did you plant your sweet peas? Mine are 1 little vines and just 4 inches tall. Mine were planted, I want to say it was like October, November, late October, early November. I have to plant very, very early for my sweet peas. They cannot be planted late. Or I can't plant them in the springtime. They can handle some cool temperatures, and we rarely even hit 32 degrees, and they can handle that. So if you're in an area where you have cold and a lot of cold, you have to wait until your frost is almost gone to get them planted. I have to get them planted and I have to grow them. For me, they're a winter time crop that I grow, and then the second that we start getting hot, they will do a whole bunch of blooms, and then they usually will die, and then they'll be gone. So, I mean, they probably only had maybe another like couple weeks to live anyways, because we are getting really hot. We're in the 90s already. If your seasons are better than mine and more reliable, you probably planted them at the right time. The next question on that video is from Annette, and she had said, is there going to be a way to have shade in your greenhouse because of how hot it is in there? And that spot looks like it will have direct sun a good part of the day. So it's going to have like filtered, it's actually in a pretty good spot where it's not going to get too much sun. It'll get a good amount of sun, but it's not going to be sun all day long. So I've kind of like figured out a spot where it will get some protection, because our neighbors, they have a crepe myrtle tree, and so that'll cast some shade. And then especially in the mornings, it's going to be in full shade all morning long, so it'd be a great place to go have coffee in the mornings. I could get shades. They have shade cloth that I can get. I chose not to. My plan is to get like some sheer curtains to help with some shade. That way it's like kind of pretty, kind of cottagey. So there's this company called Quince, and I want to order some shades from them. I have a blanket from them, and I also have this like small little like jewelry box from them, and they make the most beautiful like just like sheer curtains, and so I would like to order those. I'll put a link to them in the description down below if you want to check them out. But I love my blanket from them, so I know it's gonna be like really good quality. It's probably gonna be a little too expensive for the greenhouse, but I do think it'll be worth it. So sheer curtains is what I'm gonna do. And the last question on that video is from Rusty, and he had said, why the concrete pad? Crushed gravel allows you to spill while watering and keeps the ground porous, way cheaper too. It is definitely much more affordable if we didn't do a concrete pad, but I really want a concrete pad, and we are having it have a slight slope on the inside so we can deal with drainage that way. And I plan to tile the floor of the greenhouse. I want it to look a certain way. I have this vision in my head, so I really don't want gravel in the greenhouse. I want to be able to put like sturdy furniture on there. I want to be able to put a table in there. I want to be able to put chairs in there and not have people sink into gravel. And then it's going to be more for, it's not going to be a used greenhouse in the sense of us growing things in it. It's going to be more of us for hanging out and things like that, and being able to start up seedlings in the winter time. And if anything spills, I'm going to be doing a like tile flooring, like I said, and so I'll be able to just like squeegee it out the doors of the greenhouse. And the last video that we did for last week was planting dahlias, zinnias, cosmos, and sunflowers finally, and it was so nice to get them in. And putting that umbrella up was so genius on my part, because I was so afraid that all those little seedlings would be a little too tender. I didn't do the best job hardening those guys off. And I was like, if I throw these directly in the sun rays, they're gonna be so mad at me. And so putting that umbrella up, and I left it up for 2 days, totally worked. It worked out great. So I'm very, very happy that I did that, because all of the seedlings made it. First question on that video is from Dude TV, and they had said, thanks for sharing your garden as usual. Question, will you film cutting some of your garden and making arrangements? My wife and I used to love the videos you did with the senior living ladies making bouquets. I need to get back into that. I miss making bouquets so much. What I have been doing is I've been making some really small bouquets just to bring inside. So every like 5 days, I'm bringing in a fresh bouquet of flowers from the garden, and I will start filming that. I will start showing you guys the arrangements that I'm making. Sometimes it's just something as simple as floating some flowers in a thing of water. I will start showing you guys what I'm doing with flower arrangements, because I've definitely missed doing it. The next question on that video is from Cool Jack, and they had said, Robbie, where did you get your sunflower seeds? I get most of my sunflower seeds from Sunflower Selections, or I will get some of them from like Baker Creek. But Sunflower Selection has a huge array of sunflower seeds. That's all they do is sunflowers. The next question on that video is from Yorkie, and they had said, the smaller super tunia on the window box, if it's on drip, is it at the end of the drip run? It may not be getting as much water as the others. It is actually the first window box. It's actually the drip runs to that box first. So I have no clue what it can be. My only thought is sunlight, but it gets a ton of sun. So I have no clue what's going on with it. It gets the same fertilizer, it gets the same amount of water. Each of those buckets has the same number of drip tubing in it for the emitters. And that first one is also, it gets the first amount of water. So I have no clue what's going on with it. The next question on that video is from The Weekend Gardener, and they had said, your garden is looking great. What is the tool you use to remove the weeds? It makes it look so easy. That is a Hula Ho. highly recommend getting a Hula Ho. I think I picked that one up from like Home Depot a couple years ago. Best thing ever. And the last question for the week was from Val, and she had said, rose question. I have a rose that wasn't labeled as a climbing rose. I planted it a year ago and it's growing vigorously. After a year of being planted, do you think it's safe to transplant to an area where it can climb as far as it would like? I would say yes. I would cut it back though. Roses do so well with being transplanted. They're so hardy. Don't try to take all of the growth with you, because I mean, you're going to dig it up and you're not going to get all the roots. So I would dig it up. I would cut it off, at minimum cut off 1/3 of it. If there's any blooms, cut off the blooms and then transplant it, especially because we're starting to get a little late into the season. Best time to transplant probably would have been maybe a month or so ago at the latest, but I would still transplant a rose now, no issue. They grow so well and they rebound extremely quickly. You might have a little bit of a dieback, just cut back any dieback that you've got and it'll regrow. I've even done roses that were huge and I have cut them back and I've only left maybe 1/3 of it, transplanted it, and they grow back so easy. So yes, I never worry about transplanting roses. And I think that you shouldn't have to be too worried about it at all, but definitely transplant it somewhere where it can just grow like crazy before it really roots into the spot that it's currently at. And that is going to be it for the Q&A. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to go inside because the allergies are killing me, so I hope everyone is taking their allergy medication and is wearing sunscreen and using sun protection in the garden. Thank you guys for visiting our garden, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.